Alrighty, the bracket's drawing to a close. We're about to have our top 4 list. There's just one more match left to go. Agoo and TheXtrategist. Let's see what they have for their first kingdom. So it seems to me that the limit here is draw. Not seeing any reliable way to increase your hand size. Got plenty of villages, plenty of sifting, plenty of trashing. Oh boy, if you could just draw any cards here. Wait, what am I saying? There's Hunting Lodge. I don't know why, I mentally blanked on that. Okay, never mind, we're fine. Alright, there's an engine here. If Hunting Lodge were absent, it would be a bit of a doozy. So you get then predominantly with Sentry probably, maybe Crucible in the 4-3. Then eventually you play some Crowns and Sacred Groves, pitch your hand with Hunting Lodge, draw back up again. I could see Mystic being decent if you got Sentry anyway. Not super necessary or anything. Probably for the most part I think Sacred Grove is better because it's plus buy. But I could imagine adding Mystic or two if you have some of the cards that help line it up. How to open here? I would think 4-3 is just... Oh, there's tax. Let me reevaluate everything. I think 4-3 I'd rather open just Crucible and nothing over Silver. That's not super clear to me. I mean, double silver gets you to Sentry more reliably. 5-2 is super clear. You just buy a Sentry and you're happy. I think tax makes the 4-3 non-obvious. It would just be Silver Crucible if that were an option. One of these players needs to click ready so we can see their starting splits. Is that you, Agoo? Are you not ready? Let's look at their ban lists. Oh no! One of these players forgot to ban cards. How outrageous. This looks like one player's ban list. And that player has banned Frigate, Swindler, Familiar, Clashes, and Knights. That's a beautiful, beautiful ban list. Invest. I don't mind Invest, but this one's pretty widely hated, so that doesn't surprise me. Wall. Yeah, that's awful. The only one on this list that confuses me is someone here does not like March. Why would you not like March? It seems pretty innocuous to me. I remember once banning March, and that was just because I was playing Sangatsu in quarterfinals one year. And I just did that for the joke. But I have nothing against March. The dislike list, we've got Magpie, Salt the Earth, Trapper's Lodge, Cultist, Donate, Urchin, Barbarian. Okay, most of those also strike me as eminently sensible. Cultist, awful. Urchin, awful. Barbarian, awful. Magpie, don't like it very much. Understandable. Salt the Earth leads to just annoyingly fast games. Donate, again, I don't know everything of Donate, but it's one of those very polarizing cards. Some people don't like what it does to the opening because it's just like lightning fast. You're clean, you're building. I get that one. Once again, there's one mystery dislike. Why no Trapper's Lodge? Why don't you like Trapper's Lodge? Maybe it just makes the opening too reliable? Or maybe it makes the opening split too important. You know, like the 5-2 and the 4-3 are a lot better than the 3-4 and the 2-5 because you got that good turn one. You can top deck something nice. Maybe that's my hypothesis for why they might dislike Trapper's Lodge. Also worth noting, you know, this is a landscape. Most of the awful things in Dominion are cards, and you get to ban and dislike 5 cards each and 3 landscapes each. So it makes sense to see just some random landscape ban because it's not competing with as much. Whereas with cards, if you want to ban a card, there's like 20 other awful cards that you want to put in that ban list with a limited space. Why hasn't this game started yet? What are they doing? Why am I back in the lobby? What's going on? Something weird is afoot. Huh. Have they not started, or is that me? It looks bugged. I'm sitting in the I'm in the table, and it looks like they're both ready and haven't begun yet. The client's messing up on me. Okay, I'm in. We're good. Oh, all that musing about the ban list and a game was going on. Okay. Let's catch up. Okay, so Agoo's player 1 has the 3-4. It turns out not to matter much, but I'm a little surprised by the silver opening on the 3-4. I mean, silver, I think, just for you, is quite plausibly better than Crucible Nothing. I'm not sure about that. I would be reticent to open silver, though, just because there's nearly a 50% chance your opponent also has the 3-4. And if you open silver, you open up the possibility for your opponent to open silver Crucible, because they're not taking dead off of their silver. Whereas you could do something like tax Sentry in case they have the 5-2 and then buy Crucible on turn 2. I don't know. I think the kind of player 1 and player 2 dynamics of this make me not like the silver opening as much here as player 1. But I mean, it's fine for your deck. And I mean, here, TheXtrategist has the 5-2, or the 2-5 rather, anyway. Turn 3 Crucible for Agoo. Turn 4 Crucible for Agoo. Yeah, unfortunately, the debt means they did not hit 5 here, which is a bummer. Main reason you open double silvers to hit 5. I'm just going to assume normal things happen on these first few turns and skip straight up to the present. Okay, just looking at this game state, it sure looks like TheXtrategist is ahead. And that might have something to do with the fact that Extra had the 5-2 and Agoo had the miss 5 off a double silver opening. I'd buy something fairly conservative here, I think, given the position you're in. So a second Hunting Lodge, I think, is in order. And then maybe a Crown. If all goes well, that Crown is crowning a Sacred Grove. But if you otherwise have a poor hand, it could crown your Sentry or a Hunting Lodge as needed. Okay, Hunting Lodge Grove. I think Hunting Lodge is the most obvious buy, and there's like 5 things you could pair with that would look reasonable here. I prefer the Crown, but to each their own. Unfortunate second Sentry reveal, but I'll at least trash 2 coppers there. Let's see, you got 5 money in hand, plus 3, so 8 or 9, just depending whether you spend the copper, 6 or 7 after paying debt. You can make that 5 or 6 if you trash a copper, or you can make it 8 or 9 if you trash an estate with your Crucible. Based on that, I'm going to say the move for Agoo is trash a copper, buy a Hunting Lodge. No, Agoo wants to trash the silver. What number are we looking for here? Yeah, I'm not following this. I expect an undo. I think trashing silver would be totally fine if you were trying to hit a specific price point. Like if that silver gets you to double fives, I'm totally on board. But you killed your silver to tax a pile? I don't know. That doesn't seem worth it to me. I'd kill the copper. Then you have a silver in your deck still over a copper, which, I mean, it's more money, but it's also potentially a better future Crucible target. So if it makes no difference now, I would hold on to the silver. Field's Gift and Forest Gift, I think, just tend to be the best boons to get off a Sacred Grove because they're the only ones that are unilateral. All the other ones that are otherwise usually very nice, like Swamp's Gift, are, what do you call it? Kind of neutralized by the fact that your opponent also gets the nice boon. Unfortunately, Extra was hit by Wind's Hex. That is funny. Now, I don't think they... I guess hypothetically they could have held onto the Wisp. From their perspective, when they played the Wisp, I don't think they knew they were going to get Field's Gift. Like, this is a very, very specific order of boons that made the playing of the Wisp potentially relevant. They could have held it in their hand, and they could have picked up those 2 coppers by playing the Will-O-Wisp afterwards. But, like, from their POV, they didn't know they were going to have actions left because they didn't know they were going to get Field's Gift, and they didn't know they were going to get hit with Wind's Gift. So, like, probably an error because there's no reason you needed to play it. You could play the first Grove and then see what boon you got. But, not like it wasn't likely to matter. Let's say it that way. It's clearly the better play if you're like thinking carefully is you don't play the Wisp just in case you get a boon that matters. Which, just like the most general principle of what order you play your cards in is play the cards that give you information first and then play the cards that require information last. So you don't know what boons you're going to get yet. Play the thing that gives you boons, and then once you've seen what boons you've gotten off of the Sacred Grove, you can make a more informed decision about what else you're doing with your turn. Generally how things go. Man, I sure wish boons were optional. Honestly, I think boons are worse than hexes as far as worst parts of Nocturne go. Wind's Hex and Mountain's Hex can be pretty nasty at times. Like Pixie and Blessed Village, both lovely cards. Why? They're the 2 boon-giving things. What's the word for those? Fate cards that are optional. All right. TheXtrategist has taken a footpad. I don't think this card is too likely to matter very much, but it's fine. Just because your opponent's draw is Hunting Lodge, if they pitch 2 cards, they're playing a Hunting Lodge, they're drawing back up anyway. It makes not terribly much difference. It's not nothing. Like if they had 2 Plazas, 2 Sacred Groves, and a Hunting Lodge in hand, they could have gotten a bunch of Grove plays first and then pitched, and if you hit them with a discard attack, they can't do that. It does something, but like their deck is built to counter it already, and if they didn't have a Lodge in hand, well, they're probably deading anyway. So it's fairly low impact. It does give coffers, which are kind of nice for smoothing out your buys, and that's something. I think the footpad's fine. I think between Mystic, Sacred Grove, and footpad, you could add a footpad in between adding the other stuff for payload, and it's reasonable enough. What are we thinking about right now? They've played a Sentry and they're looking at a Sacred Grove and a footpad. I guess deciding which one they want to draw? If the boon draw pile number is to be believed, we're about to see a fresh shuffle of the boons, so the boon you get could be anything. Yeah. Seems 12 Sacred Groves have been played. I vote play the Sacred Grove. Seems like they agree. I do not vote top deck the... I guess there's no way around that. Alright, 17. I'm going to say Hunting Lodge, Sacred Grove. Don't know what the third 5 is. With the last 2 money, I'm taxing a Hunting Lodge because my opponent needs one of those. Alright, yeah, I like this. This seems good to me. I think as Agoo, you're in some trouble, and you just gotta hope your opponent has a dud. And I think TheXtrategist is probably making the right choices in terms of their buys. Like, they have more Hunting Lodges than they need by like a lot, but that's fine because they got a big lead, and you just don't want to have a random dud that gives Agoo a way back in. Having 4 Hunting Lodges in your starting hand is actually pretty nasty. So I think as TheXtrategist, you play the Sentry first, and like whatever you see, you're just pitching both of those cards. Because when you go to play your Hunting Lodge, you're going to be pitching all your other lodges, and you want to get back around to that shuffle to the lodges that are in your discard. Given the excess number they've got, I expect it will be fine. Alrighty, we're once again faced with the dilemma of what treasure to trash. We've got... Oh! JC Thress, thou art unmuted. Anyways, we got 6, 10 in hand. That's 9 if you trash a copper, 11 if you trash a silver. Again, I think I'm on board with trash a copper and then just burn a coffer to hit by 2 5s here. Not sure what 2 5s that is. Just 2 more groves, maybe? You got the villages for it, at least in theory. I think as Agoo, you're probably trying to play the reverse of how Extra is playing, which is, especially with the extra debt that Hunting Lodge has, I think what you probably want to be doing here is just taking just the bare minimum of draw cards your deck can support, and you're hoping that you find those Hunting Lodges consistently enough, and you're willing to risk a dud, because you've got to escalate your deck's payload a lot more quickly to get back in this game. So I think heavier on the payload makes sense for Agoo, and then if you dud, well, you lost, but you were going to lose anyway if you didn't take a risk. One Sacred Grove, 1 tree, 2 tree, red tree, blue tree. I started this stream with some poetry. You were just tardy to the party. I'm pretty sure there's like one person here for it. Only Bienshin will ever know. Speaking of which, how badly am I pronouncing that? It looks like the type of German word that I assume I'm butchering horribly. Probably has some sounds that are unfamiliar to me. So that's Bienshin? Something else. Not ch. Kha. Yeah. How do you make that sound much softer? Kha. Bien. Soft. Bien. Shin. Was that actually better? Fascinating. So I wasn't so far off. Less bad than I thought it was going to be. Stress on the first syllable. Bienshin. I'm sorry I subjected you to that. Anyways, whose turn is it? Extra's turn. Flame's Gift. I guess it's better than nothing. Not terribly necessary at the moment, but... Actually, I don't know. I guess you take that. You don't want a copper in your deck. That could risk a dud. Alright, we got 12 plus 8 in hand is a nice old 20. Piles are low-ish, but not really that low. Like, you got a decent number of buys. There's not a third pile that empties easily here after groves and hunting lodges. Like, if those were totally empty, the estates pile could maybe be a thing if you crown some groves and get the forest gift. I don't think you need to worry about piles. But like, this is the first turn you could at least think about buying a province, and it would be all right. Yeah, I'm thinking either just like 4 5s or 2 5s on a province. Both seem pretty reasonable. With 2 wisps in the deck plus a sentry, I kind of want a mystic, to be honest. So it's 1 less money than Sacred Grove, but it's fairly likely to be 1 more draw, which makes it a little bit safer in terms of avoiding duds. Or like if you have Mystic in your starting hand and your opponent Sun's gifts you and you just need some sort of cantrip to pull your Hunting Lodge off the top of your deck maybe. I think there's worlds where that 1 draw from Mystic makes a difference. I just want an excuse to get a Mystic. It's also less terminal space, which is worth noting. Imagine you have a hand that's like 3 Groves and a Hunting Lodge, you're sad. If you have a hand that's Mystic and a Hunting Lodge, you're happy. Yeah, I'm talking myself into Mystic. Alright, quad Mystic, let's go. Probably more like Hunting Lodge, Grove, double Mystic or something. But I want a Mystic now. Oh, that's a tad brazen. I don't like taking that many of the low piles. Realistically, it's very likely to be fine. But just in terms of avoiding edge cases, what happens if your opponent takes the last 2 Groves and then you just draw a total dud hand and then they pile estates on you? That would be sad times. It is kind of hard to dud with all the boons coming in from Sacred Grove, because your opponent's likely to give you a Wind's Gift, or River's Gift, or Sea's Gift, or Sun's Gift. Lots of stuff that draw cards and look at cards. Aha! The crucible comes in handy. A crucial crucible, one might say. And Moon Boon! Moon Boon did... so, Moon Boon is easily the worst of all boons. It's almost always totally relevant. Here it gets to ever so slightly do a thing, which was you top deck the Crucible, you draw it with Plaza, you discard it, because you're going to pitch your hand with Hunting Lodge anyway, and you got a coffer out of it. Huzzah. Alrighty, we're killing the Sentry. I think that makes sense to me. Just cannibalizing the deck for money, because we're coming down to the wire. Again, I think if you're Agoo, the gutsy play is something like 2 groves and like a province here. 2 groves and 2 crowns or something. And that's a play that says, sure, if you draw your deck, you win. But if you dud, I win. And you probably lose because your opponent probably doesn't dud. But you didn't give him any particularly nice boons this turn. And so maybe. Don't mind the double provinces either. I think this is probably the better line than playing around a dud, just given how many Hunting Lodges Extra has. Still pretty unlikely that they dud. Now, the thing Extra's got to be careful about is Agoo is sitting on 2 Crucibles. And so, their deck doesn't make that much money, but then they can Crucible 2 provinces to close out the game. So you got to be a little bit careful low in piles here. So what are you looking to buy as extra? I think something like I think I only want the 1 province. I would just, if I leave provinces at 4, I feel like Extra's deck can do double province, mill 2 provinces. I wonder if I can do triple? How likely is that? I don't know. Agoo does have 4 coffers. If Agoo can do 24 plus trash 2 provinces, that's actually pretty scary. Alright, how much is this? 15, 17, 19, 20, 22, 28? Plus coffers, minus debt. So 26 if you're paying off the debt and not spending coffers. What aren't we doing with 26? Again, I think I would like to buy Province Double Duchy so I'm not behind on points and I'm not leaving provinces at 4. And then I would like to put the deck in a position where it can do Quad Province next turn. So it costs 19 to do Province and 2 Duchies. I'm thinking like Province Double Duchy Crucible Tax Province. Or now I'm thinking about tax. Maybe you could just do like double province plus tax provinces a bunch. Is that a thing? Like you just put a bunch of tax on the province pile. That effectively makes it much, much harder for Agoo to pile out on provinces. I think those are the lines I'm thinking about. Province Double Duchy Crucible something. Probably tax. I think Province Double Duchy Crucible tax province or double province and like quadruple tax on province. Or maybe triple tax on province. I didn't work out the math to know how much. I said 26? Yeah, you could do double province, quadruple tax province, and that would work out just fine. Maybe double province, crucible, triple tax province, something along those lines are the things that are in my mind. We'll see what extra chooses. This is not the place I would be thinking. I guess. Like I would have thought the obvious play here is you play the footpad, you crown the gold, because it just trivially is the thing that maximizes your money. And if they're thinking here rather than playing the footpad first and then thinking, I have to imagine something on TheXtrategist's mind is maybe like, if you're planning on not paying nearly the full amount of money this turn, you could crown the footpad, which is less total money, but it's giving you 2 coffers instead of 2 coins, and then you could bank those coffers for next turn. So, assuming you're doing that, let's say you crown footpad, you play your 8 money, you got 15, 8, minus 2, 21. So if you, for whatever reason, just wanted to buy like 21 or 22 worth of stuff, then the crown footpad line makes sense because you're getting coffers. I don't think that's the case. I feel like there's enough stuff you can do with that extra money that you're not conserving those coffers, I don't think. So I'm on board with crown the gold. Double province, okay. Ooh. Okay, we got 1 tax onto the province pile. Is that safe? I don't know. Again, I think 4 provinces is just a scary number to leave that province pile at. If I'm putting it at 4, I'm putting a bunch of tax on the province pile. I would be afraid of what Agoo's deck can do here with a good draw. No. Agoo has 2 crucibles. Like, their deck doesn't make that much money on average, but it can easily cannibalize 2 provinces to close out the game. I don't think it is at all difficult for Agoo to hit 32. Or 34 in this case. All it takes is a good draw. Pitch or don't pitch here, I think makes very little difference. I guess you take a free crucible. Do you take a free crucible? I'm not even sure about that. Could also be a free plaza. I mean, gaining plaza is, I think, almost entirely equivalent to gaining nothing, but you take it because it's ever so slightly better than nothing. Gaining crucible, I think, is a little bit more of a difficult choice because, like, you really want to line up 2 crucibles and 2 provinces in your hand after redrawing with Hunting Lodge. I don't know whether having 3 crucibles makes that more or less likely. Like, you're definitely going to find enough crucibles, but what if that 3rd crucible is in your hand in place of the 2nd province? That could be a problem. So yeah, like if Agoo, for example, draws... Oh, maybe they're slightly short? I don't know how much is left in Agoo's deck. So they got 20 money already in play. No, this is fine. If they find 2 crucibles and double province, they hit 34. If they find 2 crucibles, province, and a gold, they hit 34. There's a decent number of draws here that mean Agoo wins. Probably well above 50% at this point, even. I don't know the exact contents of Agoo's deck, but I think it's mostly crucibles and expensive things. Oh my goodness, is this enough? This looks like one of the worst possible draws that Agoo could have, right? 21, 27. Is this 1 short? Oh no! Or is it enough? Did I miscount? Agoo seems to think it's enough. Okay, I miscounted by 1. I thought it was, or I miscounted by 2. I thought it was 33. Apparently, it was 35. I thought that was well played by Agoo. Agoo was for sure behind for like 90% of that game. I like the crucible plays in the end. Just 2 crucibles plus some early provinces puts Agoo in a position to mill provinces and close out. I think TheXtrategist did not play around that well enough and then dug his own grave. I think there were safer lines in that last turn that would have made this a bit harder for Agoo. And like he was just barely there. So that extra tax, which were, quote, very strange, would have been a deciding factor. Alrighty, I see tomb. I'm a happy camper. Although I'm not seeing terribly many ways to trigger that tomb. It's just the puka. Is there something I'm missing? No, I think it's just the puka. Sad. Okay, so we got tomb, which encourages you to trash things. Alas, you can only trash your treasures here off of puka, which is not the most exciting thing in the world. Puka is also notably just a terrible card, especially when you can't trash your estates or your curses. Everything else here looks nice. Oh, there's also no plus buy? This kingdom has more limitations than meets the eye. There's like a bunch of stuff that looks nice, but there's minimal trashing. There's no plus buy at all. I think it's worth it to play with University, which normally I think you wouldn't do in a kingdom where like the upside is just single province. But like you could University gain crowns and then puka them for extra points. There's like stuff you could accomplish here. There's also Outpost, which I guess it's worth calling Outpost a de facto plus buy. Like you play a turn, you play an Outpost, you get to play a second turn. You bought two things instead of one thing. So Outpost definitely seems worth it here. So I think you want University for the gains. Then you want just like a bunch of archives, lost cities, whatever it takes to draw your deck. And then the goal is play an Outpost, buy a province one turn, buy a province the other turn. You can net a few extra points off of puking things. I certainly want innovation at some point if I can get it. Seems great with a University. Like imagine you've got that 3-card starting hand with Outpost. You're worried about dunning. In your hand you have a University but no draw card. You gain a lost city. Or even better, you gain a scholar and then you innovate it. And then you kick off your turn. Oh my goodness me. We want a puka. I would never in a million years take a curse and a no trashing kingdom to get a puka. It's got poo in its name. It's even hinting at how bad it is. I'm not a believer. I don't like trashing coppers too early when there's no way to get rid of the estates. Just a recipe for hitting really low price points. I so don't believe in the puka. Wow, you drew 4 cards and you hit 3. Who could have seen that coming? We did still manage to hit 2 plus potion for University. I like Agoo's line a lot better. You can add the puka later. Once you got a deck that functions, you throw the puka in it and it cleaves out those coppers. Alright, that's an innovation. Never mind. I mean, if you have 6, naturally, innovation looks lovely. I don't want to curse here. I really don't want to curse here. I guess that curse gold play is at least like, okay, I guess the 3s here at this stage aren't that important. Innovation looks lovely. That curse is acceptable. The turn 1 curse, that's just it. There's only one acceptable to gain a turn 1 curse, and that's by buying it. Alright, extra has 3 money. What does one buy with 3 money? I guess a second cargo ship. Generally 2 of those is nice to have. Oh, did I say a second cargo ship? I meant a first cargo ship. That's halfway to 2. There's a lot of stuff here that helps you line up a good outpost turn. Okay, extra bought nothing. Curious. Why would you not want a merchant? Yeah, I don't know. You got a silver in your deck, so makes you some money some of the time. I think, like, imagine we just assume that the money doesn't matter, and you just ask yourself, would I rather have a blank cantrip in my deck or not? I think I would also say yes to that. Like, if I'm playing archives, I don't want to set aside too much of my stuff. So just having random cantrips in my deck the archive can set aside is ever so slightly better than nothing. If I've got like a terminal draw card and a crown in my hand, I'm ever so slightly happier to have a merchant in hand that I could crown than not. There's really nothing really strong in either direction saying do or don't take a merchant, but I think it's slightly better than nothing, mostly just because of the money, but also because of some other very minor synergies. No scholar. What do we buy here? Actually, yeah, I'm going to say Merchant. I've changed my mind. Merchant is not just okay. Merchant's a pretty good card here because you need money. You need to have 8 money in your deck so that you can buy a province. And you can gain as many action cards as your little heart desires because you got all these universities. You can crown your universities. You can put 10 action cards in your deck. But you're limited on how many treasures and victory cards you can put in your deck because you're buying 1 thing per turn, 2 if you count the outpost turn. And so I would love to have money that comes from action cards. So here you got 2 options for that. You got cargo ship and you got merchant. Merchant is a very inoffensive card to add to the deck, whereas cargo ship, it's at least a terminal silver. It's still a good card. But you gotta have 8 money, and I want money from action cards. I don't have to buy money. So yeah, merchant looks really good here. I mean, not like you need it early or anything, but like at some point I want 8 money in my deck. Oh my. It didn't register till just now, but that's TheXtrategist's first outpost, and they can't even innovate it? Okay, so Agoo has only taken 1 outpost turn so far. They're about to take another one, presumably. But, I mean, if Agoo has 2 outpost turns before your first outpost turn, and you're player 1, like you're like 2.5 turns behind where you ought to be. Like here, for example, I'd be seriously thinking about gaining merchants if that would get me to 8, or at least it gets me on the road to 8. Maybe these cargo ships are enough. But yeah, I think you're at the stage of the game where if you can get to 8, you buy a province, because these decks do max 2 provinces per turn. There's almost no way to score additional points. Again, you can university gain crowns and trash them to puka for like 1 extra point each, which is something that could be a tiebreaker in the end game, but it's not going to be easy to overcome a province deficit. And so with all the extra gains that'll keep you reliable, I think here you buy province as soon as you can hit 8. I would take a province here, no question. Alrighty, we be drawing the deck. This looks, thoroughly over. Agoo has deck control, Agoo has a points lead. These cargo ships are going to mean ain't no dud coming in anytime soon, because you're going to set aside some draw cards and be a happy camper. So here we crown the cargo ships. The university gain, just like 2 draw cards. Oh, that's not right. That's not undo that. You know better, Agoo. Yeah, shame on you. So, yeah, this is the right way to do it. If you have 2 crowns and 2 cargo ships, you play crown on crown, and then have the second crown both cargo ships. Reason being is cargo ship stays out as long as there's something to do because it's a duration card. So you set aside a thing which you're going to do, cargo ship stays out. And then a throne card that plays a duration card also stays out to let you know that you doubled that duration card. But it's not transitive any further up the line. So like a throne card playing a throne card playing a duration card does not stay out. The rule is just thrones that play duration stay out, not thrones that played a throne that played a throne that played a throne that played duration stay out. So if you go throne, duration, 2 cargo ships and 1 crown stay out of play. Whereas if you go crown on cargo, both your crowns get stuck out of play. But only 1 cargo ship needs to stay out. No, both of them do, right? I mean, like, you don't have to set aside anything ever. But they were about to gain 3 things, right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. They only have 1 university play. I guess if you're just gaining 1 university in a province, maybe it does make a difference. Now I gotta go back and look. Perhaps that was all beside the point. If you're just getting 2 things, then you could set them aside on the same cargo ship, and yeah, it makes no difference. But as a general rule, crown, duration, rather than crown, duration. Oh no! Are we 1 away, or do we have a innovation still? We have 8, so apparently we had 2 more money than I thought we did. Oh yeah, here we go. We did use innovation on the crown gain to get an extra cargo ship play. The towel has been thrown in. Alright. Lesson learned. Don't open puka. Don't take a curse to open puka. That's just... it's puka. Okay, here we go. What is this? This is awkward. So we got Great Thinning with Cathedral. We have... Pathfinder. What did Agoo open with? Agoo had the 3-3 split. Yeah, the 3-3 split is lovely. On the 2-4, I don't know what the other options were. Maybe just potion. I don't know. I'm not touching puka. And that, no, not that early at least. I would not open puka there. Pathfinding, great source of draw. All of the targets here are pretty lackluster. Like, you can get a stack of sages or a stack of cartographers, and like that might be the best thing you can do here, just for lack of alternatives. But they're not exciting cards to be putting pathfinding on, for sure. What is your deck accomplishing besides buying 1 province per turn? There's no plus buy. You could play Temple for extra points, but there's also no plus actions here, so you could play 1 Temple. I guess Crystal Ball, technically. Is that a thing? Crystal Ball is a village, but among the least reliable of the villages. This is a perplexing kingdom. Like, you could line up 1 or 2 crystal ball plays per turn, maybe. If you play a cartographer and then leave something on top and your crystal ball hits it. The terminals here aren't even that great. Like, it's not like playing 2 temples is a super desirable end goal. I'm gonna say I want like 2 to 3 cartographers, and they're gonna game me some sages. At some point, I'm gonna put pathfinding on those sages. I'm gonna play like a temple per turn, gain a temple off of tools, and buy a province, something like that. I think. Yeah, relic should be in that deck. Although, funnily enough, Sage is unaffected by Relic. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Cathedral turn 1 seems pretty mandatory. Turn 2, Bard. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, maybe I might take back the temple part of that plan. You got Cathedral, so you don't really need the thinning. It's probably not enough points to be a big difference. And if you're opening the Bard anyway, which actually seems like a good opener here, well, you already got a terminal in your deck. So, yeah, I think probably you're just buying a province per turn here is the answer and not farting around with the temple. I think the first 5 is Cobbler. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Relic. Yeah, Sage strikes me as the best pathfinding target. Conceivably, you could play with cartographers and gain them off of tools or stonemason them, but that just sounds slower for a card that is like both of these cards are basically just like +1 card, +1 action. You're getting them because you can slap an extra plus card on it. The cartographer effect is a little bit better than Sage, but not substantially. All right, 5. Relic. Okay. I think I prefer the early cartographer, or not our cartographer, early cobbler over the early relic. But I mean the difference isn't massive. Didn't take cobbler with tools. Oh, that's a good point. Honestly, I forget that tools can even do that. Tools says gain a copy of a card anyone has in play, and Agoo had a cobbler in play. That tools had extra left it in hand, could have gained a cobbler, and then you could have bought a nice 4 cost alongside it. I'm sure they pitched the tools because they wanted to hit 5, but like they could have gained a 5 off the tools, and then with a little bonus card. Do you need to trash that copper? I don't think you need to trash that copper. I don't think you want to trash that copper. Like Cathedral, like you're thin, and you don't have an easy way to add extra stuff that you just want to trash. I'm not unhappy to have the coppers at the moment. Yeah, I guess let's ask the prior question of why was a crystal ball played to even trash the copper in the first place? You only got the 1 terminal in your deck. It's not like you need the village. Is there a crystal ball tool synergy of note here? So like you draw your deck, you play a tools, you've gained something in the buy phase. The only way you could draw that card and then play it would be to play a crystal ball. The trouble is the stuff that I would want to gain in play, like crystal ball can't play cobbler. So if you tools gained a cobbler, you can't do anything because there's not an action or a treasure card. You could like gain and play a relic, I suppose, but only if you already had a relic, in which case why do you want a second one? I don't think in this kingdom that the tools crystal ball synergies are very useful. River's Gift seems like a nice boon. Alright, are we going to fix our cobbler deficiency? Agoo has 1 in play. I know you could have gained it. You could have done the thing with the tools. You have 2 cobblers in your deck right now. You know what this is? Extra is nostalgic for the old Venture stack days of old. And they looked at this king and they're like, I can play with Venture once more. What they've forgotten is Venture was removed for a reason, because that card is terrible. And Crystal Ball in this kingdom is basically a Venture. Agoo has gained a gold. I can't say gold ever looks better than Cobbler to me. Seaball stack seems competitive to me here. No, it's not. I mean, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe Crystal Ball is the way to go, and we just venture through our deck. It's not like Cobbler Sage Pathfinding is like a super powerful engine or anything, but I mean, it's Venture. I don't think you discard here. There's plenty of 4s that like to game, but I'm looking at exactly 8 money. Yeah, get yourself a nice little pathfinding. I think Agoo is probably hitting 8 for the rest of the game here. Oh, we even got a perfect hand for trashing this gold that snuck into our deck. Back where it belongs. I thought we'd kill a gold. Are you going to kill your laboratories or your laboratory gainer? Good sages. Wait, no, you can pick that up. You can do no, Agoo, no. Okay, so under normal circumstances, if you've got a bunch of sages left in hand and you have a copper in the discard, that copper is stuck there. You can play 10 sages, and every one of them is gonna look at that copper, stick up their nose, and walk right by and say, "I'm too good for that." But you've pathfound the sage. You put a little token on it that says draw 1 card first every time you play that sage. So you play your next sage, it's going to pick up that copper off the pathfinding effect, and then you would have had 8 instead of 7. And there's a nice card here that costs 8 called Province that you want at this stage of the game. Alright, we have almost drained the Crystal Balls. Crystal Ball deck has hit Province first, though it ought not have. Agoo did a little mistake. Forgivable error. Come on, you can do this. Please play the sage. Just click it for the good old... There we go! Learning from our mistakes. Progress is possible. I wouldn't have trashed that copper, yeah. I'd be happy to have an extra junk card in deck. I still think Agoo's in the lead here. So, assuming this was exactly a single province kingdom, you would take the spot of the person who is player 2 and is greened first. Because if it goes province, 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 province all the way down, player 2 can buy the penultimate province, and player 1 can't rejoin by buying their own province. Otherwise, it's a losing tie. But Agoo's deck has more deck control and the ability to do something like gain an estate or gain a temple and play it for an extra victory point for tie-breaking. Venture would be so much better than Crystal Ball here. How is that? Oh, because it skips past stuff, doesn't it? I don't even remember how Venture works. Like, the number of times I've actually put a Venture in my deck can't be very high. Yeah, Venture doesn't whiff on provinces. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe I was being too generous in calling this a venture stack. Maybe it's more like an adventurer stack. How many tools does Extra have? As Agoo, you probably naturally want to take 2 more sages. Can Extra do province and 3 tools to take the tie? I don't know. Let's see. There's 2 tools in Agoo's deck, 2 tools in the trash, 3 tools were in the pile. That's 7 tools. So Extra had 3 tools. I don't even know what that emoji is. See, I was thinking take 2 sages, but then maybe Extra with a really good draw sneaks out a tools tie. This line is probably better because it also lowers tools and sages, but Extra can't easily gain sage off of tools. And so, also this lets you gain a sage straight to hand off of Cobbler, which is another upside of this line. Are you going for it here? I guess it doesn't matter. You take sage anyway because you don't want to dud. I think Agoo most likely wins from this turn. Play your sages, buy any victory card, gain 2 tools. Yeah, it's the win. You don't need to hit 8. Alright, yeah. So I think Extra's deck was Crystal Balls. Is that 2-0? 2-0 for Agoo? 3-0? No, it's 3-0, right? Yeah, there was the Sentry game. There was the Puka game. Actually, did both of those have Sentry? There was the Sentry Hunting Lodge Sacred Grove game. There was the Puka University game. There was this game. It's 3-0, yeah. Okie dokie, what do we have? Oh my. Collection plus Tiara has a lot of victory points. We have Tomb again, although I think that might be a little bit outclassed here. Villages look a little bit tricky. Looks like you really need to have the encampments, which is kind of awkward. You probably want to buy Exploration at some point early on just for that one emergency villager. But you play some barges for draw, you play some tiaras, you play some collections with those tiaras, you buy action cards, you score all the points. Counterfeit obviously looks really good for trashing coppers. You probably get a student to trash estates. The favors don't look too important here. Forest Dwellers is it's okay. It could help with an encampment, but not the end of the world. How do you open? This is hard to say. My first instinct is student plus exploration. That just doesn't sound great. It sounds kind of icky. But if you don't take the student early, your opponent rotates it and you're never killing your estates, which you could live with that. That might be fine. But it's a nuisance. And then student's not hitting 5, so exploration seems like a natural thing to pair with it. I could see something like Scavenger Silver just trying to get straight to counterfeit and saying if you rotate the pile, that's fine. I'll live with 3 estates or get a flame skipped at some point maybe. Do we like using favor turn 1? I don't even notice that they did that. I'm going to say, what were their splits? We have the 3-4. My instinct is no. That doesn't sound good. So you reveal 3 of your 5 cards. There's a 40% chance you don't even reveal the estate, and you're just looking at 3 coppers. And then what are you doing with that? I don't know. I don't want to top deck copper estate. There's a 60% chance you see copper estate. You can discard an estate, and then you got what a 3/7 chance of hitting 5 off of that. That also doesn't sound phenomenal. I'm not liking the turn 1 Forest Dwellers. I don't think, unless. Or maybe, I was imagining we buy student. Maybe that line involves buying a silver or something instead. You buy silver and then you do turn 1 Forest Dwellers and you pitch the estate, and then does that lead you with 5? Maybe silver forest dwellers makes more sense. I don't know. So if you do silver forest dwellers, you pitch the estate. Your hand is... Oh, you can redraw that estate, though. That's not guaranteed to hit 5, is it? Yeah, I think if you're doing the silver opening, you would do it turn 2, discard 1 card. Even that isn't guaranteed to hit 5. Unless you buy exploration. What did they do? Student encampment. Student. I like Agoo's opening better. And I'm just going to skip a few turns ahead. And where are we now? Because, so you have 3 coppers, 1 silver, 2 estates. You do the Forest's Gift. What happens if the order of your deck is something like copper, 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 estate, estate, silver? Yeah. Night Watchman, you see the top 5 cards of your deck, so either you see an estate, or if you didn't see the estate, then you would just like leave the 5 cards there. That's on the 4-3. Whereas this one you only see 3, and so there's a chance you don't see the estate that you would need to discard, and they're like hiding a little bit lower in the deck. You can still guarantee if you just buy the exploration turn 2, and that solves the problem. But then it was the exploration getting you to 5, not so much the silver Forest Dwellers trick. Anyways, I said I was going to catch up, and then I lost track again. Where are we at? We're at the stage of the game that I'm worried about the encampments. Like, you want the villages. The number of villages determines the number of draw cards you can play. We saw Agoo not play the encampment there, which is probably correct at this stage. And there are plenty of cases where you buy encampment with every intention to burn the encampment and not worry about it. I think this is one of those cases where you want to be a bit careful. Just go set the main village. Do you play the student? I'm going to say yes. Trashing and copper is good. What you lose in reliability from having a student on top of your deck, you gain a little bit in reliability from having a forest dweller's favor. So I would trash a copy here, I think. Unless, does it matter for price points? No. You're hitting 10 still. There's no advantage to 11 over 10 that I can see. Plunder Barge, I think that looks like a pretty reasonable set of buys. Not an ideal hand. This is a hand that would benefit a lot from a favor, and I'll point out that extra. Undermine. I was going to say they never bought their what do you call it? Exploration, but that's a lie. The cube was just blending in. I would have been really interested in next turning that barge, buying a barge, and not missing again for X. Let's go back and look. You mean like way back at the start of their turn? What was their hand? 2 coppers, gold, barge. So they did have a nice turn. They drew their deck. It cost them a favor. Not a favor. It cost them a villager. I mean, that line sounds reasonable. It's not obvious to me that this was worse, but yeah, probably. I think I'm on Breppert's team on this one. Tiara's top deck effect is not terribly helpful here, as I'm thinking about it. Because like, there's one thing you want to find on top of your deck, and that's the encampment. And they're already in your deck. You can't top deck anymore. There's not like any extra villages lying around you can top deck if you need additional reliability. Which is not to say TR is a bad gain here or anything. There's a bunch of treasures you want to play. TR lets you play additional treasures. The TR gain is fine. It's just the top deck effect here is a little lacking. Well, it's Agoo. You only have the one barge. Is that right? Someone only has one barge. I'm guessing it's Agoo, unless it's this very bottom card. Maybe it's Agoo you top deck a barge? Tiara is thrown to counterfeit's procession. Alright, we have 10 money, a barge, and a what? Collection time? I'm going to say collection. Or maybe a plunder. I was only got the 1 gold, is that right? Alright, we said collection barge, fair enough. An additional copper. Curious. Why do you want a copper? So Agoo has a counterfeit, but they have a maybe they just really want the favor off of the student. Wait, so it's not 2 money because they have 1 copper left, and presumably with your 1 tiara, or maybe they plan on gaining a 2nd tiara mid-turn. Because if you don't have 2 coppers, you just tiara the gold or tiara the collection. Well, you have a gold and a collection. Even if you gain a 2nd tiara, counterfeit's like the 3rd thing down the list that you want to trash. So I don't think it's giving you much money. And yeah, so Agoo can gain a 2nd tiara, but Agoo also has a gold and a collection, which are both better targets than this 3rd string treasure. So, I mean, like, it's 1 point from Tomb, and you can gain you a favor, I guess, if you're drawing. Okay, yeah. Alright, I'm sold on the copper. I don't think I'd process that they had a duration barge coming in. If you're drawn by this much, there's just no downside to it, yeah. I was thinking that there's like you still have to find encampment plus gold, and not from a 5-card hand that's not guaranteed, even with a deck that in theory has plenty of draw. With the barge down, I think I'm sold on the copper gain just being all upside. I still wouldn't tiara the counterfeit. I would trash 1 copper with counterfeit, trash 1 copper with student, and then tiara the gold and the collect. Like, counterfeit, double playing, like, counterfeit's like a silver. Counterfeit, if it trashes a copper, is like a silver. That comes with plus buy. Collection is silver that comes with plus buy, and also victory points. Well, I guess to be fair, with Tomb, the counterfeit's giving you 1 victory point. But if you're buying even 1 action, you're breaking even, and then the student line gives you a favor to work with. Maybe he just forgot he had the student. Ooh! Extra has what we in the industry call a dud. If you would have done that thing I liked, you'd have a villager here. That's true. Extra did burn a villager to have that earlier turn. Extra took collection as first 5. Yeah, both of those sound bad. I don't want to lose the encampment split. And I don't think there's any case for taking collection as the first 5. I have found it to be true that you should take collection earlier than you think you should. Like, it is one of those cards that feels like a mega turn card. Like, I'm going to build my deck, and then I'm going to put some collections in the last turn or 2. And I have found that you play that deck, and then your opponent is taking like a collection or 2 per turn, and you're like, you're just buying silvers. But then they've accumulated like 20 victory points, and all of a sudden they just have immense pile pressure, and their slightly worse engine piles out before you can do your big thing. So, like, Collection can be gained a little bit earlier than needed. First 5 seems way too early for that. Alrighty, so Extra's deck is at the point where we're now durationing 2 barges, so it should be pretty functional from here on out, I would think. Are we too far behind to salvage this? Not necessarily. Don't know what that bottom card is, but yeah, I would expect us to play the Merchant. I'm looking at 4 copper still in Extra's deck and thinking that might be the case. Agoo has 4 collections, plus 2 tiaras and a counterfeit. Not that it would be correct, but I feel like Agoo could do like 100 points next turn. Extra is not the copper strategist here. Extra is just the lackadaisical trasher. Agoo is the one who's been strategically buying additional coppers all game. That's the true copper strategist. I expect a tiara, a silver. I mean, with one merchant, that silver is like a gold, but a tiara is like a collection, and a collection is a better card than a gold. That's just math. Is this a pile out? I'm gonna guess no. But who's to say? What's the cheapest pile out here? Actually, maybe. Maybe this is. What is 2 collections, 1 barge, 10 curses, and yeah, Agoo's been making some interesting tiara targeting choices that I don't agree with. Also, gold or silver gaining choices. I think this is just a win, though, right? Barge, double collection, 10 curses, and I think you need to buy like a merchant after that, but they have more than enough money. Yeah, RBS as well if you want to be fancy. That's 13, 14, I think 14 buys does it. I think with the amount of tiara plays we've got here, you just need 2 action buys to overcome the curse negative points. Yeah, I think this isn't like this is not even terribly exact. You just like if you notice the curse pile, you win. This is why it's important. Like you want to practice buying curses early and often to get in the habit of it, because you'll be in situations like this where buying curses is kind of crucial. And if you are kind of rusty when curse buying, you're more likely to overlook that. And that could cost Agoo here if he's not paying attention. Where costing would mean you have to play an extra turn and then you win next turn. Sounds like the instructions were perfectly clear. Did we find it? Is this a different pile out? Or this just looks like I want 1,000,000 points. Agoo just wants 1,000,000 points. Okay, Agoo, you can have your points. Only 68? Child's play. It's because you tiara'd a gold instead of gaining a tiara and tiaraing a collection. So there's a clear pecking order here. The copper strategist is defeating the non-copper strategist, but is just missing out on opportunities that the cursed strategist would have taken advantage of. There's no way back in the game for extra, because the problem is extra's deck I think needs more. I get no. I mean it's a loss. It's a loss, but not for the reason I was about to say. I was gonna say you need more collections, but you could just take more tiaras, and then that would solve that problem. It doesn't solve the problem of you being 49 points behind with 3 cards left in 2 piles, and the cheapest action being empty. The 2 cheapest actions being empty. I'm pretty sure Defiled Shrine is on my dislike list. Just makes the double curse opening a bit too easy. Me too, Freaky. Alright, Extra has committed the old seppuku, fallen on the sword, an honorable death from an unwinnable position. Good games to all. Congratulations to Agoo on advancing to the final 4 of the Poets. They might make it as far as the final 2 if they're lucky. Ta-ta for now.